This is Football Daft with Stephen Purden,
midfield dynamo and average actor,
Chris Toll,
target man, suspicious character,
and
with the top end of Stevenson,
Welcome to Football Daft. My name's Stephen Purden, and let's welcome the usual suspects. First, a man who, if rumours are to be believed, may turn out to be H in line of duty. Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and the wee donkey. It's Chris Toll. Mate, how good was that line?
Mate, that was beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, we'll get to you in a minute, mate, right? Get into 10 minutes, mate, right? Toll, how good was that, man?
Stevie, are you not going away this weekend? Are you going to miss it on Sunday
I'm
night?
going to miss it on Sunday night.
Oh my God, man.
I am going to be doing what football is doing. I'm going to have a social media boycott. I'm not going on any social media on Sunday because I'm not going to be home until Monday afternoon, and I will watch it with a Chinese on Monday night.
Well, you know what? That sounds good. That sounds good.
Aye,
However,
aye. Don't text me, no, Toll.
I won't be texting you. I promise I won't spoil it for you. I promise. Right, but what's been happening this week, lads? This week I get my car valeted. Right now, this is going to sound like a fucking advert, but see the job the guy done. It was absolutely unbelievable. Marty's Valets 2020 on Instagram. Get your arses on it. Say that you're a Football Daft fan and you might even get a fucking discount. What do you think of that?
Yeah. How much is Marty paying you for this? Mate?
I know, mate.
I'll just say that my car is very, very clean. That's all.
Yeah,
all right.
I will second what Toll said, because Nicola, because we're going away for the weekend, got a log cabin, she wants the car valeted. I said, oh, I will phone the very man, because Toll passed me his number. I spoke to the guy, very nice guy, and he's coming at 9:30 tomorrow morning. So there we go. Beautiful. But next, let's welcome a man who completed the virtual kilt walk at the weekend alongside the man, the myth, the legend, Arbroath's captain. It's none other than Ricky fucking Little who done it with. Tell us about it, Grado.
Oh, it was great to catch up with Ricky, man. He's been banging him in the last couple of weeks. I forgot to say, he scored the last two games. I feel bad that I've not mentioned it on the podcast, but well done, and it was good to catch up with him. As I say, I walked 14 miles for a kilt walk. Fucking absolute torture. Knees just a bit combusted. And of course, these boys that I walk with, they're all athletes and swimmers and fucking horse riders.
Oh, you're a fucking athlete.
I know. I struggle, mate.
Listen, you might not be able to do 90 minutes, but can they get in the ring and do a fucking moonsault?
Correct.
And they fuck.
Well, I can't do a moonsault either, too, but...
Listen, I've seen you trying it.
Aye. It was a shambles.
What's it called?
Moonsault.
What's a moonsault?
You backflip off the top rope.
Oh, I done that every day in the garage, man.
You didn't do a backflip.
I fucking did.
Don't you know you're after?
You were on your arse cutting yourself and that shit, man. I was backflipping off it.
Grado, I need to tell you something here. Remember a couple of weeks ago you were saying that folk were bamming you up saying you look like Steven Gerrard?
Mm-hmm.
I can actually see it in you today.
See this, mate. I'm honestly seeing him. I keep saying this to me. Mate, I'm affronted, but honestly.
I'm telling Stevie, look at him now. Look at the top half of his fucking... I'm telling you, man.
He's poses trying to put on when he's talking on that.
Mate, I'm not joking. See, everybody at the radio, they keep going, look, we'll just be talking.
I've not forgot about that, because they are ripping the cunt at you and they're just taking advantage of you. I'll be going down there. I've just no time, but me and Bert Tam, we'll be going down there and fucking talking to the cunts, man.
Look at me now, I can see me doing it now.
Do you not think he looks a bit Steven Gerrard?
Toll's trying to say that Grado looks like Steven Gerrard now.
I can't get a head.
Tell her to look at the screen.
What do you think?
Tell her to look at the screen.
She's looking at the screen.
She's there. Does she agree with me?
Look, does she fuck?
I'm not having that. I think he does.
So that was Football Daft.
What do I say about my father?
Oh, you need to tell this story. Right, all the listeners out there, right, this is my favourite story of 2021 so far. Grado, take the floor is yours.
So I get a message from my brother on Sunday, and he sends me a screen grab, right, of a Daily Record article, right, and hold on, I'll get it for you. A Daily Record article, right, and it's a screen grab of basically the headline is It's one trophy from 9 for the Ibrox boss. Devastated Stephen Gerrard admits Rangers trophy record is not good enough. And my brother sends a screen grab and goes, look at one of the comments. Did we not go to her funeral? Right, and I'm like, it's my fucking my ma. My ma's account on Facebook, Maureen Stevely. Not physical enough. My father's obviously getting into my ma's Facebook and commenting on Facebook on posts.
By the way, I hope
Either that or my ma's got opinion for Beyond the Grave about the Rangers team not being physical enough. I don't know.
I hope he doesn't go into the messenger. Some of the messages me and your mum sent to each other.
By the way, my mum did mention you quite a lot, actually, though. That's fucking...
Do you know what? Your mum on my debut show for ICW was the first person I met getting in the building.
Seriously?
And we had a rare laugh, so we did.
There you go, mate. That's
a
good
fucking diamond there, woman. A diamond there, woman.
Oh, right. So anyway, Scottish football, let's just rattle through this week, boys. I'm not really like to talk about it much. There's no Old Firm in the Scottish Cup semi-final.
How not?
St Johnstone pumped us. We get beat. So it's, Hugh Keevins wasn't even alive the last time this happened. There was no Old Firm in the Scottish Cup semi-finals. As some listeners who may sign up to Patreon and listen to Rangers Daft, I was very, very unhappy the other night, as John and Grado will vouch for.
I know something. I was unhappy.
Fucking scunnered.
Why I was unhappy? Because I turned to half when Rangers scored.
Toe, I was surprised at you because I'm like, oh, Toe's going to get torn in. You never.
I was actually going to text. I was a good like 48 to 72.
Listen, I'll tell you something. The reason that I never done it was because it would be like a homeless guy laughing at your curtains. You know what I mean? Use trounced.
There he is with that word again, curtains.
Fuck yeah.
No, I was very fucking unhappy. I texted the boys after about 15 minutes and said I could see it coming down the road. I could see it fucking coming. I had a feeling we just didn't turn up. Our attitude was stinking. Nothing.
Geese and Johnson are due, but they have been
brilliant.
Our biggest test this season.
I'll tell you this now, right? Gerrard has obviously done a great job at Rangers, but see if they win that Scottish Cup, Callum Davidson has got to get the manager of the year. He's got to. What other team has done the Scottish domestic cup double outside of Rangers and Celtic? Can you tell me another one?
To see, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be that. Because, see, at the end of the day, I don't think Gerrard himself would be that arse with that kind of, you know what I mean? This is a guy that's won stuff and all that for his years.
He's done one stuff in that.
Just a Champions League, FA Cups, UEFA Cups.
So
I know, but you've got to
might
be
even
honest,
donate it to Callum Fingley.
Maybe Callum will donate it to him.
So here's the thing, but right, no Celtic, no Rangers. It's interesting now. You've got St Johnstone versus St Mirren and Hibs v Dundee United. Who's winning that cup?
I said when it was the League Cup, I thought Hibs would win it. Right? I don't know. They seem to kind of falter round about this stage.
The
Hibs it.
I'm going to go with St Mirren.
I'm going with St Johnstone all day long. I've not seen a more organised outfit other than us this season than St Johnstone. They're every man. They're so fucking well drilled. They're physical. They're very handy on the ball.
Big Rooney's a player, isn't he?
He's a player, man. The young boy in the middle of the park, young Northern Irish boy, Mccann, scored the winning penalty. What a player he is, man.
The back four's over 6 foot. Like, and I was.
Their back four's all over 6 foot, and Tavernier still manages to score a fucking header.
And I don't even think Diamond's that tall in goals, isn't he? No, he's not a big boy. That's
Neil's Clark, Neil's Xander Clark, mate. But
Xander.
I've always liked Xander Clark as a goalie. He's one of the ones that, even though Celtic have trounced St Johnstone a few times over the last few years, he always turns up and has a right good saves when we play against him. Mm-hmm. So he does, and he's obviously a threat in the box as well. That's what they're needing.
But that's what does man. And he's basically wearing fucking high vis, and we still leave him standing still.
But what a story that boy's got to take to his grave,
he's a Rangers fan, I know.
Come on.
Maybe his wife will post on his Facebook after it.
Xander Clark, man. Fucking not physical enough.
Too physical, Xander.
Right. But I'm going with St Johnstone. Who are you going with, Grado?
I'm going to say you know what? I wouldn't mind if St Johnstone won it. I mean, a lot of your Rangers fans are a wee bit bitter after Sunday night. But do you know what? I don't care really about St Johnstone.
John, who's winning?
I think Hibs. I think Hibs.
Toll's gone St Mirren, John's gone Hibs, I'm going the Super Jays, and Grado doesn't give a fuck, but I push he's gone the Super Jays as well, man. But on to the Super Jays, that's what Big Andy Gray used to call him.
Did he say that?
Aye, he's a St Johnstone fan. Reports, Toll,
Yes.
saying that Eddie Howe is putting together his background team as he closes in on becoming Celtic manager, but his hopes of bringing Richard Hughes as technical director are hanging in the balance. Toll, is this happening or no? He's going to get a manager in.
Do you know what? We've got a good guest on the show later on. I think I might
Good shout.
subtly ask him if he's heard anything. You know what I mean? Subtly ask him if he's heard anything. I think we'll leave that wee story for later on in the show,
Aye, mate.
Okay, aye, cool, man. But man. Do you want Howe though?
Aye.
He wants Howe.
Aye.
I think the majority of Celtic fans want Howe now, innit?
Aye. I think everybody wants Eddie Howe. I think it's went that far that Celtic now need to pull out the stops because all the fans want him, and see if Celtic don't deliver. It's just another fucking nail in the coffin between the board and the fans.
And you look at some of the players like Norwich are going for Christopher Ayer, and Spurs are meant to be going for Sorrell.
What?
Aye, that was on the news the other day as well. I seen that. Yep. Ayer has been linked with Norwich, and Sorrell, who's played how many fucking horn for games? Spurs are meant to be looking at him.
Listen, see, at the end of the day, everybody's got a price, right? And if Celtic have got a big rebuild on their hands, see if a Spurs or a Norwich come in with daft money for the two players, they'll be away. Make no mistake about it. But I'm a great believer that the new team, the new first 11, should be built with Sorrell and Turnbull. Yeah, Sorrell, defensive midfield, Turnbull a wee bit further forward.
What about Ryan Christie?
By the way, we've got a good guest coming on later on in the show. We'll touch on that later on in the show, eh? By the way, I'm shiting myself.
After the things you've said, Toll, man. Oh, boy.
Things you've said about his boy. Oh,
boy.
Toll.
His laddie. Hey, great,
Aye.
his laddie.
John, what were you going to say there?
I
You
was
were
going to
throwing
say,
away.
like, see, Declan Gallagher might be moving to Aberdeen. Is that not a player that Celtic might take a go on, Chris? That's a kind
He's
of...
a decent centre half. That boy is decent.
Is he wanting to come to Celtic and be a bit part player, or does he want to go up to Aberdeen with this new revolution that they're building up there? You know what I mean? It's for me, if I'm a player that's going to be going to Celtic as a squad player or getting the chance to go to Aberdeen with this new project that they're building, I would probably say Aberdeen's maybe a more attractive option.
Aye, because there's a lot of right good centre halves behind him at Celtic. Anyway, more football chat and daft chat on the open. I was only Tom. Sorry, man. I was only joking.
Okay.
By the way, see that striker that for Middlesbrough that Rangers are after? He's Britt Assombalanga.
That's not a bad effort, mate. Well
that
done.
That was good, mate. That was good. I just tried to catch you off the cuff there. That was good, mate.
My brother's in Middlesbrough now working. They're all saying he's shite. I'm just passing it on.
Do you know what? The reason I know his name is because he always comes up scoring a goal on Soccer Saturday. And you know what I mean? Like,
so does Ricky Little. He does.
Are you going for signing him, I know?
He does, man. He does, Gradle, but what I keep us up to date with, mate. You know what I mean?
I will.
I know.
That's your mate. That's your mate.
What are you talking about?
You forgot to mention him last week, two weeks in a row he scored and you never even mentioned it.
Ken, I met his father in Morrison's and I was going, oh, he can't stop banging him in, can he know? He's going, oh, I still like him. I was going, hey, see you later, Alec.
Grado thinks he looks like Steven Gerrard. You're not sure because you're saying you're just a claims specialist. Tell us all about the claims. Tell us, what do we do? Tell us about G4 Claims, Nicole.
G4 Claims. So we're an accident management company. We specialise in non-fault accidents. So I always say this, guys, if you're involved in any sort of accident, please contact us first. We can point you in the right direction. We can also give you loads of free advice on how to get the process started and get everything moving for you in the quickest way of doing that. Everything we do is totally free of charge. We bill everything to the at-fault insurance. So that means that your insurance policy goes totally unscathed and untouched. You will not be charged your excess. You'll be given a like-for-like replacement hire vehicle whilst your car's off the road. If your car is repairable, it can be repaired at a repairer of your choice, not the insurance choice. If you've got, a body shop that you want to use for your car, we'll use them. If your car is written off, we'll recover the total amount for your pre-accident value and get you back your money so you can clear your finance and get back on your feet. If you're injured, we deal with your whiplash claim as well, so we can help you with all of that. And like I said, everything we do is free of charge. We also don't take a percentage from your compensation like the insurance companies do. So if you're involved in any sort of accident, please contact us on 01698 767 172. We're also on all forums of social media. You can contact us at any method. And it's not at fault claims made easy.
Boom.
To the Football Daft open line. It's the open line where anything goes. Questions you could ask: who should be in the Scotland squad for the Euros? I'm sure we'll get that over the next couple of weeks. Who's going to win the Scottish Cup now that Rangers aren't in it? Sorry. Oh. And just who is watching that pish on BBC called I Can See Your Voice?
I actually thought it was alright, John.
What, are you watching that?
I thought it was alright. They try and see who the kid on singing is.
Aye.
I get laugh at that.
Oh, that's shite.
Don't get me wrong, I don't watch it, the full episode. I get it on Gogglebox.
Aye, that's where I seen it. I seen it on
There you go.
Gogglebox.
Credo. There's a wee thing on BBC as well, just a wee thing called Line of Duty, man. Just maybe check that out if you're watching other things on BBC. I Can See Your Voice now. I mean.
And let's go to our first caller, which should be Stuart on the line. And he's got a new book out.
How you doing, Stuart?
Watch that, mate. Bob, just watch it.
All right, boys.
How you doing, Stuart?
I'm doing good, yeah. I'm under my missus' name, so apologies.
That's all right.
Okay.
I thought that was just your weekend Zoom.
Well, listen, let's not judge anyone.
It's been a tough 12 months.
Stuart, you're on to tell us about a book that you put together called Follow We Will.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
Tell us more about it, Stuart. Tell us about it.
Tell us about the book.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. First of all, greetings from sunny West Sussex.
Lovely.
About 2 years ago, I did my first book. I took early retirement for the health service in London, and I did this one: 10 matches, 10 players.
I've got that.
Oh, brilliant!
I've got that. Brilliant.
Well, I'm saying brilliant. You tell me if it's a load of shite.
No, it was great. It was great. Everybody, they went the great 10 greatest matches. Loved that.
And what I done was, I came up and I went to my mate Stan Gordon's pub out in Blantyre. I interviewed the 10 players. So from the goalie at Leeds to, and I'm 58, so just north of 55. And I went to great games like winning the league up at Aberdeen. Wally Johnston won at Barcelona, was just before my time. But listen, it was a great experience. And during lockdown earlier in the year, I decided that there've been loads of books done by far better people than me. People like Alistair Aird in Ayrshire, and Jeff Holmes has done loads of
Jeff's books are good.
Man. They've done the really serious stuff, Mark Walters and Marco Negri and all that sort of stuff. So I thought maybe it's a time for fans to tell their stories. Now I'm fortunate enough to have been to about 75, 77 European games away. It was easier getting from London. You just jumped in the ferry or whatever. So we've done this one. Follow We Will.
Brilliant.
We've got the launch in 3 weeks. And I've done it as a collaboration with Stan. Stan manages the Rangers Legends, which we'll come on to in a couple of minutes if you've got the time. We've done a lot of charity work over the years. We did the first one done this way in Sussex for a guy that died. We raised thousands then. We both of us were friendly with Ray Wilkins, and Ray Wilkins, we did the first game at Sutton United in South West London. Ray helped us, and then sadly Ray, as you'll know, passed away. We did the Ray Wilkins Memorial game, raised a lot for charity there. Then my brother up in sunny Shotts in Lanarkshire, he was wiped out with cancer, so I did a game up there, But 2.5 years ago now, we raised about 20 grand for Macmillan. So we've done a lot of stuff with the Rangers legends, but I thought let's give the fans a chance to tell their story. So we've interviewed 34 fans. Some of them you'll know. There's some well-known guys like Andy Smiley.
Yep.
Robbie Ferguson and Stevie Campbell, who never missed a game. I mean, I'm an amateur compared to them. They're in the 200 league. Then we've got some of the younger guys like Ross McGill at the Union Bears. Ross done a great story about going to Leipzig for the friendly a few years ago. Then we've worked our way around the world. So I'll be sitting here at maybe midnight. We're interviewing guys in Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Guys who were born in Auckland, but still had the same. I know every club's got their part. You know, my best mates are Celtic fans or Millwall fans or Chelsea or whatever. But concentrating Rangers for a minute. The passion that was oozing out of these guys, telling their story about. There's a guy from Canada who jumps on a plane in Vancouver and comes over for Peterhead away, the first game when we were doing the leagues. He doesn't have a ticket. And without getting too much away, because I want people to buy the book, he turns up at the Grapes Bar on the Friday night. He's still not got a ticket. And chucking out time, he's offered a ticket with a guy that runs the bar. I don't know who know, and he's on the bus up to Peterhead. And we've got guys from Australia coming over from. We all went to Manchester. Some of us got tickets, some of us didn't. But guys coming there from Manchester, from Australia to Manchester, and getting back the next day, and just brilliant stories. 34 fans telling their stories.
Stuart, I want to know about Stan's Legends games.
Right, there's one coming up in August in Thursday. Now I'm not. Thursday's like I'll be quicker going to New York. So Stan manages that one up on Thursday, and it's for the local fire brigade. Now I know Marco's coming over and Michael Moles and all that. So if the two you're interested, then I'm speaking to Stan every day at the moment because of this. Then Sunny Shots in September. So I did one for my brother a couple of years ago. We've got one coming up on Friday the 17th of September. Rangers Legends against the Shots boys. James English is sponsored again.
All right.
James podcast.
Good.
Not as good as yours, obviously.
Brilliant.
James will guest for the Shots Select. Good guy. And we're doing it for St Andrew's Hospice, where Fernando passionately spent his last few days. And there's a wee mental health charity in Wishaw called Christie's House, but they stretch out all over the gaff. So if you want to be turned
I'll play in both games, definitely. I'll play.
I've already spoke to Bob about for the Thursday game, especially because it's something, because I'm ex-fire service as well, so I'd love to get involved in that. Do we get it, mate? Is it on Amazon? Or?
We're having a book launch on Friday the 21st of May in the Stonefield Tavern, Blantyre. On the Sunday, we're going to be in Brian's Pub, Oswald's in Glasgow. Yeah. On the Sunday afternoon, then his new gaff in Uddingston, Lounge 72. But basically, if you go to followwewill.com, so it's $9.99. It's a price of a couple of pints, and you can get it there. And it's a bit of fun.
Brilliant, mate.
Stuart, thanks for coming on the open line, mate.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate. Good luck. Cheers, mate.
Let's go to our next caller. It's our Rangers supporter, Chris.
Another Rangers fan, eh?
Jamie, how you doing? Welcome to the show. What do you want to say to the panel?
Cheers, mate. No, good to be here, guys. I'm quite excited, actually. I can't wait to tell my mum, Bob, that I'm speaking to you. Last time I went out with a River City cast member, she just about lost her nuts. So, that was a good one. He used to get pals with something out with Gary Lamont, and he did a congratulations message for my wedding, and she just about had a heart attack when he came on the screen. It was brilliant.
That's lovely.
Anyway,
Grado, he seems to forget that you were in River City and all, mate.
Right? You know, it's just kind of 8 episodes in that. You know?
Recurring role, aye.
Thanks very much, pal. I appreciate that.
Right, Jamie, how can what would you like to talk to us about today?
Sorry, let's actually do a question. Sorry. So my question is to do with the sort of rise of fan media, fan merchandise, and things like that, and not just Scottish football, but kind of football generally. Cards on the table. Shameless plug. Being my best pal, we started a wee kind of Rangers fan merchandise company a couple of months ago. Sort of streetwear sort of stuff and all that gear. So. But there's loads of other folk doing that. There's obviously loads of podcasts and sort of fan media and stuff like that. But my question for you guys really is, how do you see that sort of changing over the next few years? Obviously, from a media point of view, like traditional media is kind of dying a death a wee bit. Fan podcast media, stuff like that's coming up. Loads of folk are now, you know, selling gear and things like that. The club's obviously doing well, but there's a lot of other folk coming on at the scene. I just wanted to get your take on how you see that, all that sort of changing over the next.
Who is it that's selling gear, mate? And have you got their number?
Start till 6, mate. Sorry.
I think there is a bit of a difference, but between, well, first of all, I've got an opinion on the fan media. I reckon in about 10, 15 years' time, it will be solely, you know, people want to buy papers anymore. A lot of the media now are getting stuff for the likes of these podcasts. You know, we'll have folk come on, and then the next day, and it's like in the paper, Sunday.
But I think Ray Parlour had a good point though. I think quite a lot of the fan media prefers to like focus on the negative.
But I thought he came across bad last week in that way.
No, but I think the point he made is valid, because the guy for Arsenal TV, when Arsenal have a bad result, it's more entertaining to watch Arsenal TV.
How can you be positive about Arsenal? But that's my point. I mean, so I think.
But he basically was saying that, you love it when they get bait, and I don't believe that big guy does love it. He's obviously getting.
I know what you're saying, but I think the point that he's trying to make is if Arsenal lose, it works out better for him because they're getting more hits, and that way it generates more income. You know what I mean? So that's the point that he's trying to make, and I understand what he's trying to say. It wouldn't. I
get that.
He was out of line last week, but because Simon Jordan dealt with that before, and he was really good with Robbie, who's a friend of mine, and I just think that I don't know, he come across, but I think there's a different story in terms of with the fan media with these YouTube channels compared to like some blog websites and podcasts that are now getting access to go to the press conferences and stuff like that. I think that's.
But I think I get a lot. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say that. I mean, that's for me is there's two sides of it, right? Okay, because you've got your proper journalistic media, which is, you know, your super scoreboards, your Go Radio, all that, you know, the proper journalists and stuff like that. But, you know, fan media for me should be for the fans. I don't think that fan media, and I know you guys, Heart and Hand and all that sort of stuff, should be going into press conferences and going to the games and stuff like that, because immediately then they're affiliated to the club. They're getting these press passes, so they're immediately then feeling that they have to, you know, kowtow to the club in ways. And
I don't think they do, but John.
Because that's what I was going to say, man. I don't think, see Heart and Hand, the other night after St Johnstone put us at the cup, I don't think it's a case of
ripped into them.
We need to bow down to you. That they give it out. They give it out, and I think
because as soon as he starts doing that, that's the fans can see right through that.
Yeah. I think John's saying is, see, like for a Celtic point of view, right? The guy that runs a Celtic State of Mind, Paul John Dykes, he started to be getting interviewed as the go-to Celtic guy on Sky News.
Is that the guy with the dark hair?
You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, he's very good, and
I think he is good.
His podcast's excellent, right? But
I've listened to it.
I think what John's trying to say is that it's starting to infiltrate the mainstream media now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's going to melt into one. So I think
there's a place for both.
But it should be separate.
But because at the same time as well, this is maybe a stupid comment, but there's people are saying, like, is this maybe daft? But you know, a lot of these videos have a lot of swearing and all that, and you know, a lot of the stuff that is getting said willy-nilly without it actually being like, oh, we can't really say that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's a problem there where when you're trying to legitimise it, you can't legitimise it if somebody's on swearing and cussing and effing and blind for somebody to go out a job, then that's kind of...
you fucking kidding.
I mean, it's entertainment, isn't it?
Fuck off, you know.
I know, man, the fuck am I talking about?
Jamie, what's the name of your company anyway? What's the name of your...
Get a wee plug, mate, get a wee plug.
Here, lads, Blue Sea Apparel, it's called. Blue Sea.
Fucking Del Boy, that's what he's called.
Blue Sea
Instagram, you'll get us on. We've got a website, obviously, where we're punting gear. Not that kind of gear, that's skill. I'll give you my number after on for that.
Mate, you strike me as the guy on Spotify who's trying to buy Arsenal now. See, about 20 years' time, you're going to own Rangers.
Going places, mate. Going places, big man.
Did you sell pirate CDs at school?
I don't know, but he's got a fucking pirate Rangers shirt.
Kelly McDonald, no comment.
Grado won't get that. He doesn't watch Line of Duty, mate.
Oh, fuck's sake, Grado.
H.
Now we're sucking diesel.
Brilliant. Jamie, listen, good luck with the business. We'll give it a retweet on football.
Cheers, lads. Appreciate it.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
Beautiful.
Thanks for coming on. Really interesting
Cheers,
chat.
Jamie boy. Thank you.
And that's it for this
That was
week's
good.
Open Line. Thank you very much to all our callers. If you want to be on next week, just keep an eye out on our Twitter and our Facebook. That's at Football Daft Pod and just Football Daft on Facebook.
Football Daft's big question.
Listen, we've been graced with some brilliant foreign players in our game, the likes of Larson, Laudrup, Maravchik.
Wait a minute.
That is fucking hell,
John,
That
John,
is
I'm trying
some
to back you
spelling
up
of
with
Larson.
mate. But come on, you can't spell Larson. Larson?
I don't
For
know
people
why
that are
I
listening to the
think
show, he has spelt Larson Larsin. Oh my god!
And you spelled Maravchik right.
And
I mean, you speak like Nakamura.
Nakamura.
That's the first.
typing.
That's the Scottish. That's the Scottish Nakamura.
But anyway, they've all played for the Old Firm. However, this week we want to know who's the best player that's foreign to come to Scotland but to play out with Rangers and Celtic.
That
Please.
is a meaty question,
Now,
isn't it?
that is a very meaty question because I saw when Football Daft tweeted this and I'm going, oh, there was about the most amount of replies we've ever had to a post
By the
on
way,
social media, and it was good.
The Edinburgh punters weren't they enjoying each other?
No,
Well,
it's been a battle.
Hearts and Hibs fans were getting right in about each other with this one.
I don't like to say it, right? But I agree with the Hibs fans. I think Frank Sosey, no a lot of folk fucking can lace that guy's boots. He was a class act.
Guy won a European Cup. Know what I mean?
Exactly.
But you've,
I think he's
but
class.
I also had to notice that people were going, I mean, I know he did play for Rangers, but, and then saying like Theo Snelders, and you're like, that doesn't count. I mean, I know technically he didn't play a lot of games, but good keeper at Aberdeen in the late 80s, early 90s.
He was great for Aberdeen. He was great for Aberdeen.
See, I never saw that, obviously, too. I don't remember if it's Snelders as they shot out a game at Parkhead, but...
I'm going to throw one out here, right? I know Frank Sosey was amazing. I know Rudy Scatchell was outstanding. I know that we've had some belters like Margaro Gomez and players like that, right? But Eremenko, that played for Kilmarnock, is probably one of the most skillful players that I've seen out with the Old Firm. Definitely.
Aye, he was technically sublime.
But, you,
Really
but then sometimes I remember he might not have been the best. Right, for example, see, I'm a wee boy, 10-year-old, right?
Aye.
Watching Hearts. I'm loving Jose Katongo, man.
Aye.
He used to excite me. You'd go,
Aye, then you play charity matches with him, you just can't get the ball off him. You realise how good he is, man.
Still good, aye.
My mate played with Jose Kotongo and he says, unbelievable, like, just couldn't get near him skillful, but he actually couldn't kick the ball. He didn't know how to kick the ball properly.
John, that is correct. See when you play, like you see him close up and you're playing him, I always slag him when I see him and go, because every time I see him and I'm playing him, all you end up saying is, Jose, because he never fucking passes the ball. And then when he does try to pass it, he scuffs it. He can't kick the ball. Do you know what I mean? It's weird.
I've watched him in a few charity games as well, but he's got a part in my psyche, my fucking Celtic supporting psyche. He scored the equaliser at Tynecastle when Celtic were trying to stop 10 in a row. And I could have strangled him if I'd have got a hold of him.
Do you know what, boys? I know that we've had Bob Malcolm on twice, but obviously, see back in the day when you done it, I'm telling you, or maybe it was David Tannant, we need to get Katongo back on, because honestly,
that was a belter. I seen that one, mate.
His partner's brilliant. His partner's tremendous.
And absolutely. Anyway, we'll wait, because we could argue as the day's long here.
Here's one, but before we move on.
All right, when you go.
You've got to mention Ravanelli and Caballero.
Yeah.
Caballero, definitely.
Ravanelli, but fuck's sake. Ravanelli's probably...
Right,
Ravanelli's arguably one of the best players to ever grace fucking Scottish football.
Football?
Football?
No. What?
Football as a whole, though.
No, I'm talking about if you're just talking... obviously worldwide he's one of the best players in the world at the time, but I'm saying if you're talking about Scottish football players, he's got to be mentioned as like one of the best players. You know what I mean? Like, no, he didn't have his best days here, but if you're talking on pedigree, Sosie didn't have his best days here either, probably.
You could say the same with George Best then, couldn't you?
Aye, exactly, yes.
So what are we talking? Well, George Best is for Northern Ireland, Credo. Are we talking British players or are we talking Scottish?
I think that's a bone of contention.
Then you've got Chris Waddle.
Right.
Yes, you have, Chris.
You know what I mean?
Yep, played with the base. Got James Madison as well. Obviously.
Yep, that's correct.
An absolute fucking belter, a free kick against us.
Dean Windass.
By the way,
good player.
Scored a lot of goals for the Dons.
Let's see what the listeners think.
Okay, Let's go to Stevie. Well, Stevie's he's gone for Frank Soze. He says Frank Soze hands down. I mean, come on, he won the Champions League and he captained France.
Your boy Oven says St Mirren Ishmael Gonsalves scoring in his. Do you know what? I don't know if it's Oven. I can't trust John's typing, but it says your boy Oven here.
That's
Right?
his Twitter name.
His name's probably Gary Muir or something.
He says St Mirren striker Ishmael Gonsalves scoring on his debut against Celtic to take the Buddies to the League Cup final. Bring on the Scottish Cup this year.
There you go, your boy Oven. Next one, Mickle says Caballero for Dundee. What a cracking player. Fuck knows what he was doing in Dundee.
Jamie Langfield cleared all that up. He told us what was going on, that man.
Correct.
Ross says the lack of Takis Fissis being mentioned in this is disappointing.
Wow.
Rolls Royce, a player, strolled this time at Hearts and won a European Championship.
James has also been in touch. He says, always liked David Zetterli at Hibs. Good player.
Or Hubs.
Hubs is John's corner today. Michael says Rudy Scatchel. Rudy Scatchel. I mean, I don't know if he's ever heard a copy and paste, but anyway.
John, sometimes you need to just walk away from the beer machine, mate. Have a glass of water.
I know, sometimes I need to proofread as well.
Michael says Rudy Scatchel probably had the biggest impact at Hearts, different class. Larry Kingston, there's a name, also had all the talent in the world, but was a lazy bastard.
See, that's the problem here, though. Like, are we talking just the best players, or are we talking the biggest impact these players had? But we're halfway through what the callers are saying. So fucking shut up, Stephen. Go on and go too.
So Sean has mentioned one that had completely gone out my mind, actually. Hitcham Zero Ali. He has to be up there, although he didn't spend long up here and there was some talent. I remember he was the first player I ever seen with the number 0 on his back.
Well, who else was after that, maybe?
Oh, that's a good point. But he
That's
was
a good
still a
point.
first. Still a first, but wasn't he?
Well, he sadly passed, if I'm led to believe.
He did.
Which is that was a horrible
Alexander
story.
says, no argument. It is Big Frank Soze of Hibernian FC.
Here's one that maybe did he play with your mob, John?
Casper
Well, Dave
Schmeichel.
Max says Casper Schmeichel.
Yeah, he played
Falkirk.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, him and Tim Krul at one point, I think.
That's right, man. Tim Krul. I remember him playing at Ibrox.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Z says Sozy. Too easy.
Gavin says, finished with Kilmarnock, who Toll mentioned earlier, Eremenko. Great player.
John has decided to go for Julian Speroni for Dundee, and he said when he was growing up, he always thought he was a top class goalkeeper, pulling all the top saves.
Graham has a one-word answer for us. Ravanelli.
Good answer. Stephen says, Hans Gilhouse was unreal. Any other answer?
What a fucking
You're
player.
not old enough. Great player, man.
What a player, man.
I don't remember him, boys.
Grado, he made his debut, right? He comes onto the pitch within 15 minutes. He's put an overhead kick right into the top corner.
Who did
On
he
his
play for?
debut, Aberdeen. He scored a hat trick that day. What a player he
What
was.
years, too?
It was around about 88, 89.
Right.
80s, late 80s, man.
Wow. Eddie says Sozy at the Hobos. I'm imagining these pubs again.
That's not actually. That is actually a typo. I think.
A typo.
Eddie's a Celtic supporter, so.
Right. Okay.
All right.
And, yeah. And I don't get what it means at the end.
Anyway,
Ravanelli at the
Ravanelli,
field.
Fieldemail.com Dundee, because they obviously had all that email stream.
Oh, failed email. All right, fucking hell. Glasgow Lockdown. Jose Kitongo is my favourite non-old firm player.
Yep.
Given some of the names, he isn't the best, but find it very hard to dislike Jose. Exactly what we
Can I
were
disagree
talking
with
about.
that?
Yes. And Jordan, the last caller, says, modern times, it's got to be the boy Eremenko at Kelly. But here's one, boys, that we forgot about. He also says, Big Mixu, Patalian was decent today.
That's
Big Mixu.
Big Mixu.
How you? Aye, you. If you get hairy buzz, if you got a bush, well, you definitely do. If you haven't tried the best products for your sponsor of the day, it's Manscaped. And after using these life-changing products, you're going to want to join a Boss Sack beauty contest because I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for you because I've also going to give you an exclusive 20% off discount. All you need to do is use the code DAFT at manscaped.com. Hairy Boys, big major issue in Scotland, and we don't know how to deal with it. Well, this is how you deal with it. I've dealt with it in the past. you use Manscaped. Because listen, Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game with the perfect package 3.0 kit. We've all got our 3.0 kit, Troops, haven't we?
We do.
Yep.
It is smooth and it is comfortable and it gets your balls very, very baldy. The perfect package 3.0 kit comes with the essential lawnmower. Wow, that's waterproof, by the way. And it's cordless as well. And it's a body trimmer as well. Bob uses that now and again in his back. And there's a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. This is the best trimmer. And it's here to help you trim up your hedges. This trimmer, it features cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. So, look, you're not going to cut your balls, right? It's going to be fine. When you trim your hedges, the tree stands taller. That's what we're going for here today. And inside the perfect package, you'll also find the Manscaped Crop Preserver. This is a body deodorant, and it makes sure that your balls are smelling majestic before your Tinder date. You'll also find the Crop Reviver Ball Toner, and that is a spray-on testy toner that's designed to make your balls smell irresistible. And be sure to add the refined cologne to your arsenal. With the perfect package or performance package purchase, listen to this, you get 2 free gifts. You get the Shed travel bag. That's usually $39, but look, that's getting put in there and all. And the patented high-performance, reduced chafing Manscaped boxers. These are the absolute boys. So get 20% off and free shipping. Use the code DAFT at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favour. And always use the right tools for your bush trimming experience. Get 20% off and free shipping. Use the code. It's daft. It's manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping. Use the code daft. It's 2021 and you've still got a bush. Change that with Manscaped.
It's a player profile playoff with piesports.com. They're bringing the taste of Scottish football right to your homes every week during lockdown. You can get on their website, piesports.com. Check out the range of pies. We've got great packages. Mr. Christopher Toll's favourite, the Glasgow Oyster packages. 4 rolls, 4 pies, stick the pie in a row, nothing better than that. You can also call them 0141 739 9999, 0141 739 9999. They'll deliver free of charge right across Scotland to different postcodes, so check their website for details. We try and give away the pies to a listener every single week, and on to play a good Falkirk supporter. It's Ryan. How you doing, pal?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Shiting it. Well, Falkirk are playing Partick Thistle tonight.
He's getting pumped tonight.
I want to know, Ryan, are you shiting it for the game tonight? How you feeling? Do you know what? I'm not even going to watch. Do you know what? I can't watch it. I can't watch it. I'm just going to.
The wrestling zone.
It's your big...
Honestly, Chris, I can't watch it.
It's your biggest game of the season.
Aye, but I can't. I'm going to switch my phone off.
No,
I'm going to
you should live stream it.
I can't handle it, honestly.
What about you and your pals getting a wee Zoom call, having a bevy?
None of us can handle it.
I tell you what, John, you better mute the group chat then, because I'm going to keep you updated, boy.
Same.
Right, are you watching the game, Ryan?
Well, I walked round the corner, Fates. I'm just going to stand up at the canal and try and get a watch it live.
Oh, wicked lad.
Brilliant, mate.
Listen, can you see over the gazebo for the canal?
It's at Partick Thistle, Chris, you white.
Ah, damn it.
Right.
Me and Grado have got keys for that.
He's wanting to go to the game.
I know.
God, I wonder if we would have been able to do that, Bob, now. Just turn up, man. We probably
Imagine it's just turning up like a kebab or something, just staring at that big window watching the football. Right, Jerry.
Ryan, you know how the game works. We're basically, I'm going to read that player description from a certain season. You buzz in when you know the answer. But if you do buzz in and get it wrong, you don't get to buzz in again. First to 2 wins. And you know what? Just for being a wee wido, you're going to be playing Chris Toll today, all right? So we're going back to 2005-2006 season, all right? That's a season that Celtic won. That was Gordon Strachan. Was that his first season, Chris?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember Media Bratislava.
Aye, 5-0 was it, or 5-1?
Oh, that was a hard one.
Aye, Chris Boyd for the Rangers boys ended up top goal scorer, but he scored like 15 goals for Kilmarnock and then 17 for Rangers and that.
Right, man.
A wee mixture of both.
December, he signed, wasn't it?
Yeah. So let's get cracking at the quiz. What's your buzzer going to be, Ryan?
COYB.
Well, that's too long. Just say
Come
it.
on, you birds!
CYOB. Right. Okay, Chris.
You put me in it, John. I've not had time to
You could be
Devonville.
COYB, you know.
Devonville.
Right. Okay then. Right. Okay, boys. First player coming out. This striker joined Rangers on loan from Charlton at the start of this season after falling out of favour. After his
Devonville.
Chris.
Franny Jeffers.
Yes, 1-0. Come on, Ryan. Right, next player. Come on, Ryan. After leaving Benfica, this Greek international left back surprisingly decided to join Hearts. He collected his fourth career winners medal in his first season. Sorry, I didn't hear anything there. In his first season with the Tynecastle side, when he defeated Gretna in the Scottish Cup final, his first and only Hearts goal came in a league game against Motherwell in 2006. He became a popular member of the Hearts team and will always be remembered fondly for his celebration after clinching a place in the UEFA Champions League. He left Edinburgh club at the end of the 2006-07 season and back to Panathinaikos. He also won the European Cup with Greece. Come on, Ryan.
Oh, the name's there, and I can't think it.
All right, that's a shame.
So it's Fissis, isn't
it? 2-0, Chris Toll. Oh, Ryan. Sorry. I'm sorry, it's 2-0 Chris Toll.
I think we should give John the pies this week, man.
John, Ryan's getting the pies. You give them away. Ryan's getting the pies because a good Falkirk Bairn. So well played, Ryan.
Ryan, what I will say is your fellow Falkirk fan has flung you under the bus there.
I know.
You know what I mean? Disgracefully, should I give him Grado or Stephen? Not this guy. Not this fucking... not this almanac.
Almanac.
Right.
Enjoy the pies, my man. They're fucking dynamite.
And enjoy the football tonight, Ryan. Fingers crossed.
Good luck, Ryan.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome a man more legendary around the Highlands than Rob Roy McGregor. He played for Caledonian, he played for Inverness Thistle, and when the two clubs merged into a superpower, he spent 10 years at Inverness Caledonian Thistle. It's the one and only Mr. Charlie Christie. Charlie, welcome to the show, but I have to say to you, you are responsible for one of the worst nights in my football supporting career. Honestly, I relive that every 2 weeks or so, waking up with a cold sweat. But Charlie, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm sure the guys agree.
Yeah,
definitely.
100%, Charlie. Thanks for joining us, mate.
I actually want to know about that night right away, couldn't we?
Can we talk about that right away? Will we talk about it right away? Get it out of the way so I don't need to fucking keep thinking about it.
The night Inverness Cali went ballistic. It was a great
night. Everybody remembers the newspaper article, didn't they? What is it? Super Cali go ballistic.
Super Cali go ballistic.
Celtic are atrocious. Fucking Jesus.
Oh, what a night, guys. Honestly, it was an incredible night. It really was. It was just, I mean, as you know, I'm a Celtic guy. I've been, a Celtic fan, and for a long time I've been down at Parkhead, especially with European games. I've been down these incredible nights. But when we got drawn against the Celts, we did a good cup run that year, and then we got drawn away at Parkhead. It was like a dream come true for me. Things hadn't quite worked out for me in the 2 years I was down there, so it was great to go back, and there was still people there that I knew, and we were huge underdogs, rightly so. I think we were sixth in the first division at the time, and I think we were 16-1. In fact, I know we were 16-1 because our manager Steve Patterson had a grand on us.
Brilliant.
Superb.
Hey, I'll be phoning the SFA about that.
I'll tell you, it's incredible, guys. At half time, I think we're winning. We're winning 2-1 at half time. We come in, and Celtic, obviously, it's not quite happening at Parkhead at that time. They were playing a bit second fiddle. They're great rivals, and I think the Saturday before it, they'd been beaten 3-2 at home by Hearts after leading 2-0, and you could tell there was a wee bit of tension in their team. But we come in leading 2 at half time. So Steve Patterson was a man of few words, a great manager, but he didn't say a lot. But he just said, "Look, guys," and he actually said, "There's more goals in this for you if you keep playing the front foot." So just before I'm going out the second half, I always splash a bit of water in my face. So I'm in the toilet in the away change room at Parkhead and splashing a bit of water. And he comes and he nudges me, and he knew I didn't really need spoken to. I was quite experienced at that time. I was 34, and he says, he says, listen, he says, we need to keep getting on the ball. He says, blah, blah, blah. I'm going, no problem, Gaffer, I'll get on it and make things happen. 16 to bloody 1, I've got us on the night. Right, what motivation that is, pal. Gaffer, you know. But,
I think half the Celtic team had it on that night and all.
Imagine like the manager though, like imagine you're 2-1 up at half time and your team talking when you'd be like pure nervous energy, like come on boys, keep this going, come on, 16 to 1 boys, you know what I mean, come on.
Yes, honestly, it was Steve Teeth though, because honestly, he doesn't get the credit, guys, up here that he deserves. He's a fantastic manager, but as I say, a fantastic man that liked the pint of Guinness and liked the wee bet. But it was just a great night. It's a fantastic night, and you know, the big thing for me, actually, guys, going back is it actually was a big turning point in Celtic, because the fans after that said no more. You know, they turned around and said, look, you know, we're playing second fiddle to Rangers at the time. This is not good enough. Politically, there was a lot of unrest behind the scenes. And I think it was not long after that Fergus Mccann came in and things just went from Fergus took off, you know.
Fergus was in long before that. This was a build up to Martin O'Neill coming in.
Sorry, so it was. Sorry, I'm thinking more of the. You're right, John Barnes. It was.
John Barnes. Was that his last game?
I think it was Gradle. I think Dalglish took over after that and seen them through to the end of the season, and then we brought in Martin O'Neill. So
so that was. I think when you do look back, that was a kind of catalyst, wasn't it, for them to go right. Let's get this sorted and get.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the following season, they won the treble and all that, did they not?
And then,
that's true.
And then everybody, including the players in Inverness, lost a week of their life.
See, obviously, Charlie, going from Glasgow to Inverness in the bus, that must have been some journey, but after that.
It was brilliant. I remember, I'm trying to think who it was actually, but fair play to Celtic, the boy came, who was it again? He says, 2 cases of, I think, whatever beer for the bottom of the bus for us, and great. And I think that wasn't enough drunk by the end of London Road. It was just a great. We used to always stop in Pitlochry on the way back up the road. So we stopped in Pitlochry and go to the usual haunts, and then we came back up. And then we met. The good thing was we met the next day and just continued the celebrations. And it was all over TV and Sky Sports.
It was class.
It was brilliant. Great for the club. Great for the player.
You know, the St Johnstone players will have been doing that this week. Charlie,
anyway. We were,
listen, hey, I'll tell you what, guys, I was the first one to text Sean Rooney and Jimmy McCart after the game.
I bet you were. Brilliant, man.
That was a bit of a turbulent night. Let's not dwell on that, guys. Let's just move on for that. Well, but Charlie, you played for Caledonian and Thistle. What was, like, back in the day, was there a big rivalry there? What was it like?
It was a big rivalry. It's a huge rivalry. It was similar to the rivalries down south and other places. Just we didn't have the numbers. You know, we're talking about crowds of maybe 2,500, 3,000 were at the games, so they weren't big crowds. But
that was pulling in a lot more than the lower leagues in Scotland. I remember, like, before the two clubs came together, you could. Like I live in the same street as Albion Rovers, right? You'd be lucky if you get 300 at an Albion Rovers game. It's obviously a big city. Well, it wasn't a city at the time, but it's pulling in everybody from that city. You know what I mean? All the football fans for that city. So it must have been huge. It must have been quite intimidating playing in front of that sort of crowd.
Well, it was a good crowd, and there was a lot of good banter. It was bragging rights, people going to work in the Monday morning, as we know. But you're right, the crowds were good. And when you look at the lower leagues, we would. I mean, Cali in particular. I mean, Thistle were my team. My brother and father played with Thistle, but Cali, they were a very well-run non-league side. I mean, they would put most part-time clubs in Scottish football to shame. They were so well-run at the time. So no, it was great, and I managed to win trophies of both clubs. They both did really well in the Scottish Cup as well, which was nice. I mean, I remember we drew with St Johnstone at Cali Park in '92, and we had a sellout 6,500 that day. So, you know, when we were in the Scottish Cup, we used to attract bigger crowds, which was great. They played, you know, Celtic in the 50s. I think they got a sellout. They played Rangers in the 60s. So these were massive games. But since '94, since we amalgamated the both teams, then it's been a different beast altogether up here. I think football at long last been a bit more recognised in this area, and you know, there's been good players in this area for years, but when you're in non-league, Highland League, you don't tend to get noticed. But
Yeah.
I think the last 25 years we've put things right a wee bit.
Charlie, like you played under Billy McNeil at Celtic. What was that like?
Great 2 years. Just, I mean, he's a legend. You know, I remember my father talking about picking up the European Cup in '67, and he was a colossus, and you could tell why he got the nickname Caesar. He was one of these guys, and we've all met him. When he came into a room, you could straight away he was a presence in the room, and it was just a learning curve. I'd gone from non-league. I was playing with Thistle, just won the league in '87. They'd watched me 7 or 8 times that season, done the deal, and then went down into a room with McNeil and Jack Mccann, it was at the time, the chairman. So it was such a learning curve, and big characters at Celtic. They actually won the double that year in their centenary year, so it was a good time to be there. The frustrating part was I couldn't break into the first team. You know, the first year was great. It was I was top scorer in the reserves. I was playing really well, but I think it was McAvenny and Andy Walker were playing up top for the first team, and they were doing so well. And of course, neither of the buggers got injured at the time. They played near every game that season.
Did we not have Mark McGee as well at that point?
Mark came in as well at a slightly later time, but McGee was there as well. So the great times. It was just, you know, they played a different system. They sort of played a 3-5-2, and as I say, Christie Morris and Anton Rogan. I was in the same house as Rogan, and he was a great character. And
you know what, Anton Rogan got a lot of stick, but I always remember him being a great player. I know he made a couple of mistakes, but he was a far better player than he got credit for. Absolutely. I'm glad you say that. He was. It's funny because he played, and he was never present that year, you know, because he was never ever or very seldom injured. He had the really bad performance. I think it was the 5-1 game that they beat by Rangers, and people remember that, as they tend to do. But the centenary season in '88, you know, the 2 wing backs, Morris and Rogan, were fantastic, and of course you had the quality of McStay in the middle. So no, credit to him. It was just a great place to be at the time, and you know, it was a learning curve for me as a young lad from the Highlands coming down, and you know, even the nightlife in Glasgow. It was actually the Tuxedo Princess was in the Clyde at the time, unfortunately. That's a while ago. Jesus.
I remember it was a while ago, honestly, and I remember a few times being at the bar in that place buying a bloody can of Schlitz for McAvenny.
I was going to say that, mate. Coming from the Highlands down to Glasgow, playing for Celtic, and then coming to like nights out in Glasgow with like Frank McAvenny, that must have been an eye-opener.
A bit of a culture shock for you.
It was so surreal, but it was brilliant. In football, even going from, we trained part-time 2 or 3 nights a week, and you're in every day, and you've got your kit laid out, and it was just, you know, such one of the biggest clubs in the world. It was, and in fact, I was a Celtic supporter. I remember when I left, like all the boys at my last night of training with Thistle, they were actually saying it's a real Roy the Rover story sort of thing. They couldn't believe it. It was just because I'd been away in a few trials. I'd been in about half a dozen trials, the length and breadth of the UK in the previous couple of years. And I thought I'd sort of missed the boat. So I had a decent job up here at the time. I thought, well, just play part-time and get a good career. And the phone call sort of came out of the blue. And it was just, but it was a great 2 years. I just regret probably I didn't make the most of my opportunity, to be honest, you know.
I'm desperate to know, you go back up to Inverness, but you play as a player and a commercial manager. What is that?
Hi. No, it's fair shout. I mean, I came back up and, you know.
Is this all the skills you learned in the city? And you went, right, guess what? This is what they do in Glasgow. This is how they, do you know what I mean? Did you get lessons for that?
No, it's funny because I came back up with the club that I was with. I went back to Cali actually in the Highland League, and they had a good commercial setup, you know, just getting match sponsors, and they've got a lottery and things like that. And then the guy that was in that job, he moved. He'd been in it at a long time, and he moved. And it was the chairman. He says, Charlie, you're people in the area know you. Your name's synonymous with football. You're quite, you know, you're settled back up in the Highlands now. Do you fancy giving it a go? And I was very apprehensive, but I says, you know, what was I, early 20s? I says, okay, I'll give it a go. And to be fair, it was good. I really enjoyed it. We trained 3 nights a week, and then during the day you would meet sponsors. You would maybe, you know, try and get people involved with the club. You ran the lottery. They had their own little commercial offices quite near the stadium. So it was a good setup.
So what were you doing? You can like spicing up the raffle for half time and stuff like that on a Saturday?
Aye, sort of, you know,
adding music and all that when they come out, the players come out.
Making up winners' names.
Making up winners' names and pocketing the change. Good for you, Charlie. What a gig. Man.
Everyone used to say to me, who's this Bertie Smith in 73 High Street that wins all the prizes?
It's like Grado when he gets his mates to phone in the breakfast show and go radio in the morning.
Cut that.
Sorry, mate, I'm only kidding on.
Aye, cool, man.
So obviously we've spoke about the game against Celtic, Charlie, but your laddie Ryan is going to be playing in the Euros in the summer. Now, when we qualified, his interview after the game, Alex Ferguson actually says that Ryan had him in tears watching it. Mm-hmm. How did you react to that? Because I know I was watching it and I was filling up, and even Grado and Stephen, I'm sure they were.
We were.
It was emotional, you know what I mean? Even
it was an emotional night, that altogether. Like,
it was.
I've never experienced like times like that watching Scotland, and that was Ryan Christie's interview after it was kind of like just the icing on the cake to such an emotional night.
I've no spoken to him since. He's bloody embarrassed the family. No.
I know you weren't greeting after you put Celtic out the cup. What's you all about it?
No, but as you say, guys, it was an incredible night. I mean, you know, we had my daughter was around with her boyfriend. He's, you know, football fanatic, and we just sat in with a few beers, had a few glasses of wine, and I thought we did well. I thought, as rightly said after the game, we all said we got a surprise. We battled with Serbia toe to toe, because we all thought before the game if we were going to get through, it'd be a bit of a smash and grab, and it wasn't the case, was it? You know, and then when Junior scores, I mean, we're going mental around the living room, we're hopping up and down, and we're trying to see time out, and then when they scored that corner in the last minute, you're thinking, Christ, this is Scotland to a T, and it's, you know, it's a 1986 World Cup all over again, and it's frightening. But to see that we're literally going mental when Big David saves a penalty, and then we're just calming down a little bit, and we're settling down, and you know, try to wipe up all the spilt beer off the floor. And next minute, Junior comes on with his interview, and it was, you know, I'm first one to say my wife and daughter, there's tears running down their face, and it was great. It was a round of one of these nights you'll never forget in our life, you know.
Right. What about Fergie talking about this week, man? Sir Alex, that was brilliant, wasn't it? This week saying that even it brought him to tears as well, man. That must have been cool hearing that.
It was brilliant, Brad. Honestly, it was just great. And you see that, you know, he's the most legendary Scotsman in the modern game, and you know, for him to say it, and you can see it's from the heart too, because Fergie's the sort of guy you can imagine would have been having a right few red wines after the game as well, you know. So brilliant.
That's brilliant.
Definitely. But how do you think we'll do? How do you think we'll do in the tournament in the summer?
I think we'll do all right, to be honest. I mean, you know, if we play like we played out in Serbia, we'll do okay. We're going to need to ride our luck a bit, to be honest. These guys are, as we know, are technically so good, you know. But listen, I think they've definitely got something going. Even the young fella says it from when he first came into the squad 3 years ago under Alec McLeish, and he can see the squad developing, and you know, he gets on great. He's friendly with Robertson and McGinn and Armstrong, and they've got a real good sort of camaraderie going. And as we know, I think you need that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Gay's a wee exclusive here. Is he away in the summer?
I hope he's away to the Euros, if that's what you mean.
He's done your airflow. That's a good answer.
Got to be careful here, but as I say, there's not a thing. I've been a wee bit, I must admit, guys, and I'm glad I'm speaking to you, because, and I'll say it, I've been a wee bit disappointed that some of the things I've read over the past 6 months about he's wanting to get out the door, and he's absolute baloney. Absolute nonsense. He's had 5 of the best years, well, 2 of the years he was at Aberdeen, but he's had 3 of the best years of his life at Celtic, and he's loved every minute of it. Like every Celtic fan or player or staff member alike, the last 9 months have not gone as we'd all hoped. But, you know, I've heard some absolute baloney written and said about Ryan, about the club in the last few months, and people should take check of that. But no, now he loves it. He absolutely, you know, he's as devastated as anyone that they haven't quite achieved that final aim this year.
So Charlie, you're obviously like a Celtic man, Chuck. You support Celtic. What do you, when you look at the team now, who do you want to come in as a manager?
It's funny, guys, because personally, I like the idea of Eddie Howe. 6 months before Ryan signed for Celtic, Bournemouth came in for him, and Cali Thistle knocked back what they offered. And I was sitting in the house one night, and this is a true story. I was really disappointed that the club had knocked it back. To be honest, I thought it wasn't right of the club, but I was an employee of the club and I didn't have a lot of say in it. But I was sitting in the house one night and I got a phone call on my mobile. It was Eddie Howe. Couldn't believe it. Don't know where he got my nuts. Don't know this day where he got my number. And he detailed what he saw as a pathway for Ryan at Bournemouth. And he was playing the under-23s for a season. He knew they needed to develop physically. They would do that. They would work with him that way. And it was a pleasure to speak. I spoke to him for a quarter of an hour and it was a pleasure to speak to him. So, you know, and then 6 months later, it worked out well because Ryan got his chance to go to Celtic, which was great. But I thought, what a gentleman. And I thought he did a great job at Bournemouth. So he, I think, is a good fit. You know, hopefully it'll happen. The way he had Bournemouth playing at the time is very akin to the way Celtic like to play. And that seems to be a good fit as well. So, you know, he would be great. But
I think you know more than you're letting on, my man.
No, it's funny. Ryan phoned me this morning, guys, after his way back from Lennox Town. He phoned me and he was just catching up. And I asked him the question. I says, are the boys talking about it? And he says, well, we're all talking about it. He says, but nobody's really in the know as yet, or nobody's letting on. So, but he says, obviously, the boys are talking about it.
Aye.
I think that's what Hugh Keevan said. Hugh Keevan says that there doesn't seem to be any sort of leaks coming out about this. And this is the first time in a long time that Celtic have been able to keep their gas at a peep when it comes to stuff like this. So, you know, it's quite an exciting time now. Fingers crossed we get the right man in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aye, we'll see, guys. You know,
never mind you two, Charlie. Don't worry.
He's ending up with Kennedy. He's got Kennedy. He's not got the money. Get the noise.
You have just put a big sponsor on the top of your stand, you.
Oh, hey. I bet you half the Rangers fans don't even know this till you know that.
You better believe it, brah.
Was that? I saw that banner. Was that a trophy? Thank Christ.
Oh, right, Charlie, that's plenty. Come on. Right.
There we go.
So, I don't know what to say now.
Well, whatever, Charlie. It's been nice talking to you. That's a good laugh.
But talking of like the next Celtic manager and stuff, how did you find your time in management, Charlie?
I enjoyed parts of it, guys, but by Christ, what a stressful job. I take my hat off to see these guys that do it for 20, 25 years. They've obviously a different beast than me. I used to get home, guys, on a Saturday night, and I light a glass of red wine, and we did well. You know, the 2 years I was there, we were in the Premier League, and I think we finished 7th and 8th. Never had fear of relegation. Got in the quarterfinal a couple of times. It was good, and you know, won at Ibrox for the first time, gents. I better throw that in.
Yes.
But no, it's just I used to get home, and you get home maybe 5:30, 5:45, 6 o'clock Saturday evening, and all I could think about was who we were playing the next week. You know, my whole focus, it takes over your whole life, or it did with me. You know, you're just thinking, you know, who have we got next week? All right, we've got Aberdeen away. You've got to start thinking about that. And I think you've got to be a certain beast to be a manager. You know, and you see the guys that do it at the top level for so long, you think, maybe I don't know, I just took things, the fact it was my hometown club as well, I think I took things so serious, and you know, I used to get really frustrated when things weren't going well, and probably didn't quite get away from it enough, to be honest, you know. So, but you know, great times as well. I loved the interaction with the players and the 2 years, and as I say, it went well at the time. You know, I think you look at the club now, it just looked like finishing 5th in the Scottish Championship. I don't think we realised then how good we had it.
I mean, you're only a few years removed from Scottish Cup finals and stuff like that, you know. So it has been a bit of a downfall for the club, but
it's not been as bad as Falkirk, but it's...
Don't start with Falkirk.
It's funny, every time we're feeling a bit down, we always say, well, look at Partick Thistle and Falkirk, because we used to have good tussles with them, and you look at it's a good example, 2 full-time clubs and what can happen, you know.
So tell me this one, Charlie. When you were managing, did you ever have a player that shot too often and put it into the stand?
I had a few players that took the shot too often.
Took a shot too often, brilliant. But what if you were the Celtic manager right now, right? What would your advice be to Ryan? Because a lot of people are getting on his back about his shooting. What would you say to him?
What I would say to the manager first and foremost is play him in his best position.
Right, fair enough.
For a boy that played number 10 last year and scored 22 goals, I wouldn't have been so tempted to move him so often.
Mm-hmm.
That's undoubtedly, and that seems to be some so-called experts forget that too. It's one of the things I think, looking from as a Celtic fan, that's I'm qualified coaching-wise to the hilt, and I think the change of system for Celtic over the past 18 months has been really strange. And at times I think they've looked really uncomfortable structure-wise, and I would include Ryan at times in that. They've gone to a 3-5-2. I mean, you look at the team when Brendan Rodgers was manager. You look at the formation; it was basically a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-1-4-1, and they basically romped home with everything. So I think, but my advice for Ryan would be just, he's obviously not as confident as he was 12 months ago. But listen,
he got them back a couple of weeks ago. Did he know?
I know what Ryan, what it means to Ryan at Celtic, and I also, from it being in the know what it means to some others at the club that earn substantially more. And Ryan cares an awful lot more about the goings on than an awful lot more. He's disappointed he's not been able to contribute more, but people also forget, and it gets him back a wee bit. October, November, Lenny was still the manager.
Aye.
And Ryan was absolutely flying. People forget the goal against Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup semi when Aberdeen had started the game better.
He's nominated for goal of the season.
Yeah.
Both of their goals have been nominated for goal of the season.
But no, he's got to just you can tell he's frustrated. And at times, actually, I feel it's funny. It's the total opposite of some of the nonsense that's been said. Because I say to him before the game, I say, don't be trying too hard. You can see he's getting a bit frustrated and he's trying things that he wouldn't have 12 months ago.
Aye.
And I mean, I've seen that in loads of other players,
I think you're right in what you're saying about a lot of the players not bothering their arse, to be honest with you, and it's screaming out for the club, to be honest with you. It's screaming out for the team, and I think big changes need to come in the summer.
I think we'd all agree, Grado, that, or all lads in the call, we'd all agree that the recruitment at Celtic has been, it's been often said over the past 6 months, but the recruitment, and that's the hardest part of football, the recruitment at Celtic over the past 18 months has been simply horrendous. It's just not been good enough. I think you're talking 22, 23 million pound, and that's got a huge knock-on effect at football club,
Definitely. I mean, you look at losing Fraser Forster and then you're bringing in Barkas. He's not hitting the ground running. You're bringing in Hazard and then Scott Bain, and then you've got Shane Duffy coming in. Julian's injured. You've got Laxalt coming in.
But Bob, see if this is Rangers, Bob, right? And you've got a situation with somebody like Ryan Christie. You're wanting somebody like Ryan Christie, a young Scottish boy, to be there who knows what it's like to play for the team. For the new manager coming in, you're wanting him signed, sealed, delivered for the next couple of seasons.
If, like you're saying, like Charlie's mentioned, Eddie Howe is a fan of Ryan Christie.
Aye.
You know what I mean? So if you're going to build a team around two players, it looks as though, with what Charlie's saying, it could be maybe Ryan and David Turnbull or something like that, And I can see they two being the midfield of Celtic. If after what Charlie's told me, obviously, I'll hold my hands up. I thought Ryan was wanting away. I thought he was one of the ones that were wanting away, But if he's committed to the club and they play him in the right position and he can get his shooting boots back on, then there's no reason why he can't go on and become the player that we know that he was the last couple of seasons. So, it's
get him tilt, Charlie.
As I said all along, Ryan's taking it, guys, has been, and I'll touch on this very briefly, but his taking it's been that he wanted to keep his options open, and he's been totally honest with the club, from day one, that he said he wants to keep his options open, get to the end of this season, and see what evolves then, and nothing's changed from that. And I think, to be honest, I think that's as fair as he's tried to be really fair. Again, it's absolutely not been a financial thing at all, as some so-called pundits think it is. So, yeah, but I agree with you say. I think that, I like David Turnbull. He's a good football player. I remember when David got his injury, I actually made it my business to get David's mobile number, and I give him a wee text just to say there's better times round the corner when he was doing his rehab. And it's great to see him hitting the ground running now. And the big thing for me again at Celtic, I think people don't realise Forrest has been a big miss because they've played very narrow. I think you even saw that in the recent Old Firm games. They've really struggled for a bit of natural width in the team throughout the season.
Yeah.
You know, again, that goes back to maybe recruitment for Celtic to go into an Old Firm match without one winger, one wide player in the 18, to me is absolute poppycock, you know.
I was as a Rangers fan, I was quite happy about that because the week before we struggled against, when we played Hibs, Martin Boyle caused Barisic all sorts of problems. So I heard Forrest had a good impact in the Livingston game he was back. They played well.
The thing is, though, we were playing him on the left when he came back. We were playing him on the left, so it would have been.
I'm sure if Celtic had watched Rangers the week before, they'd have seen Barisic.
I don't think Celtic watch anybody that they play against these days, to be honest with you.
But Charlie, you are currently youth development officer at Inverness Cali. How's that? Is that working out all right?
It's all right. It's okay. It's been a good season this year. I mean, with the COVID, football's been a bloody nightmare for everybody. But for us, it's actually, we've had 3 of the academy boys playing regular. Boy Cammy Harper left back, Roddy McGregor in the middle midfield, and Daniel Mackay, who's actually finishing the season as probably one of the top guns in the championship. So credit, it's been good year for the academy. It's difficult up here because we don't have, population-wise, we're never going to produce dozens and dozens of top players. It just won't happen.
See when you get a good one, they're always right good, but you know, when Cali Thistle get a good player, they always end up going on to a lot bigger things. So.
Well, we've had Shinnie, who's stepped on and done well for himself. People forget it was us that had Stuart Armstrong. It was us that found Stuarty. We got him from a junior club, a boys club in Aberdeen. We took him through. And then he relocated, so he left the club because he was relocating. But you're
Robson,
right.
Barry Robson as well.
Barry, we won't get them in big numbers, but we can produce good players. And the 3 boys I've mentioned, have a real chance to kick on.
And what about Inverness itself as a wee town? Because that's is it not the fastest growing town in Europe?
It's not a town, Grado, it's a city, my man.
Is it not the fastest growing city? I beg your pardon, I'm talking poppycock. Is it? Because there's no. Because the last time I was up there was brand new hotels, new strip joint in town. There was, and it seems as if it's as the years go on, it's becoming a better place to live, isn't it?
It is, Gary. You're spot on. It's honestly the housing developments that are going on here is bloody frightening. You wonder who's buying them, to be honest. But it's just growing year in, year out. It is the biggest developing city in Europe now, which I find quite unbelievable. But and believe it or not, you'll love this, guys. COVID is actually, I've got a couple of pals in here working the estate agent sort of field, and they're saying they've never been as busy because there's a lot of people wanting to relocate here.
Wow, I never thought of that.
Which I thought because of the COVID thing, because we were actually one of the safest places in the bloody UK. Really? So it's funny, it's got a knock-on effect, but it's actually, and thank God, because it was, I remember Sandy Robertson that was at Rangers years ago.
Yes.
Sandy came up here for a season. And we went out on a Tuesday night. We had a Tuesday night game we played. I think it was Park this. We played in the stadium. And Sandy says, you fancy going for a beer, Charlie, after the game? I says, no bother at all. Then, of course, we're in the pub at 10:30, and that was it. And he says, right, where are we going now? And I looked at him and says, you're not going anywhere in Inverness.
I just want to know, how's Neil Mccann getting on?
Mm-hmm.
He's done well. He's done great, Steve. Honestly, he's done really well. He's come in. It's a horrible thing with John. John's wasn't feeling the best, and it was a double whammy, guys. Because obviously our assistant manager Scott Kelleher, who's a great guy, he's got long COVID, so he's no. So we've had the double. Both management team were written off. So Neil's come in, and it was difficult. Immediately, fair play to him, he tried to change a wee bit the way we played over the first couple of games, and it didn't really work out for him. So I think really he went back to playing it a bit more safe, and he's got the best out of the players. Bit disappointing we've just missed out in the playoffs, to be honest, because I know that was obviously everyone's goal. But no, he's been a good impression. He's been thorough. He's changed one or two things. I've had good chats with myself. I knew him. I actually played against him years ago, but I didn't know him very well. But it's been good to catch up with him, and his ideas in the game are good. He's what I like too. He's a fire. He's got a bit of fire in his belly too, as he showed last Saturday, I believe, at Tynecastle. So no, he's had a good impression at the club.
Good. Do you see maybe, obviously, situation pending on whatever happens with John and stuff, could you see maybe a long-term thing there for Neil McCann if there was a chance of that?
I don't know. It's quite topical. Steve, it's been talking about, we're talking about Celtic Monday, what's happening there. We're very much in limbo at the moment here. The thinking is Robbo will be fine to come back for pre-season, and we all wish him the best.
Good luck to him, man.
Yeah, a lot of fans have been very, very taken and maybe looking if John didn't come back or didn't want to come back, that certainly would Neil consider the job amongst that. There's a few others names in the ring as well, but we'll see what evolves.
Well, Charlie, what does the future hold for you?
For me, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm desperate for Inverness to be back in the top league because it's not the same. See, being out of the Premier League in Scottish football, it's just, you are forgotten about a lot. We need to get back playing, get the visits to Celtic Park and Ibrox. It's just, for a club our size, it was phenomenal. And for the fans, we don't have a big fan base, but it was great for them. So, we need to get back up there. I quite like my job. I'm the head of the academy up here. Again, we've got good young players, not a huge abundance of them, but it would be nice over the next 2 or 3 years to see them. And then obviously it depends where Ryan career, how it evolves. That's a big part of our life. We love having our weekends and watching them play football. It's such a.
So do you think you'll be having your weekends down in London, maybe?
Tom, he's not going to tell you.
I was
sitting here at 7:30 tonight. So Charlie, you'll be in Manchester next year.
What about Burnley? Do you like Burnley, Charlie?
I was fancying an Estrella in Barcelona, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Beautiful.
But Charlie, it's been absolutely magnificent talking to you, and thanks for giving us your time, mate. But every week on Football Daft, we put our guests' football knowledge to the test with our 90-second quiz. You up for it?
Absolutely.
On the leaderboard, people you need to beat here, Charlie. We've got David Martindale is top of the leaderboard with 16. In joint second is John Sutton and Chip Young in 15. Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley are in third with 14. Other selected scores include Owen Coyle on 12, Johnny Watson on 9, Yogi Hughes is on 6, Barry Feastenders was on the show, he's on 4, and at the bottom, it's a tie between Peter Lovenkrands, Derek Johnston, Craig Levine, and Mixu Patalainen, who are all on 3. Is there anybody there you want to beat?
Got to beat Yogi, innit?
Christ, if I don't beat Yogi, I'm packing in.
Brilliant. Well, does one of you two fine gentlemen want to ask the questions?
Fredo, you want to do the
Yes, I'll do it. Now, Charlie, remember, you can't pass. You must give an answer.
Okay.
All right.
No, it doesn't need to be the correct answer, Charlie. It can be.
Well, it would help.
It can be poppycock if it is.
I'm getting the back of my tap.
Poppycock
one. Like, too far.
Too like mine.
Right, enough. Right, here we go. John.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Which champion side was Celtic's Stephen Welsh on loan with last season? Charlie.
United.
Which side were top of the Scottish Premiership for the first 2 weeks of the season?
Remember,
United.
You've only got 90 seconds, Charlie.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
How many sides are in the SPFL's 4 leagues?
42.
In what season did you win the first division with Cali?
2000.
Who was Scotland national men's team manager immediately before Steve Clarke?
Alton Cleash.
Who's the current longest serving Scottish Premiership manager?
Gerrard.
Who scored St Johnson's goal against Rangers in the Scottish Cup?
Well, Chris Kane, really, but the goalkeeper.
Which is the only SPFL team to begin with the letter I?
East Fife. Jesus, that's terrible.
Who was Aberdeen?
Time.
Inverness, Caledonia, Thistle, is it?
You know,
I thought
you know
you were
what? I thought when I explained it, I thought, did Charlie think I said it's a 90-minute quiz?
That was funny as fuck.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right, let's go to the wrong answer.
Back to the drawing board.
Right, Charlie, here's the answers for you. Celtic Stephen Welsh was on loan to Morton last season. It was Hibs that were top for the first 2 weeks and not Dundee United. You won the first division with Cali 2003-2004. Is that right?
I don't think that's what the question was, but okay, I'll give you that.
Oh, what's that? What was that? Was that the right question, John?
What did you think the question was?
What year did we get in the championship?
Oh,
that's me. I've said that wrong. Then you've.
I think we need to give Charlie a point for that because
giving Charlie a point.
Cheers, Steve.
Come on, he's struggling here.
Right, okay. And of course, which is the only SPFL team to begin with the letter I, Inverness, Cali.
For the love of God.
That's the best. That's going on the end of year tape.
You nearly got Ipswich Town.
But Charlie, you've done it all right. You're not bottom, but you beat Barry from EastEnders at least. You got 5.
Oh, just one behind Yogi, Charlie. One behind Yogi.
Oh, Big Yogi's got the bragging rights.
Oh, Christ.
Brilliant. Hey, Charlie,
that was brilliant,
it's been brilliant, mate. Yeah, thanks for joining us, bud.
No
Cheers.
bother, lads. Take care.
The most eagerly anticipated Old Firm in years.
Everybody's buzzing for it, aren't they?
So, I'm going to be away this weekend, boys. So,
oh, mate, you're missing the fucking football and line of duty.
No, I'm not missing the football, mate. I'll watch the football.
But there's that appetite. I mean, we record this on Wednesday. It might get better for the old Friday. But the new man, I can't be bothered.
You know, Sam, I've really enjoyed this show today, and I think I've enjoyed this show more than what I'm going to enjoy Sunday. I just can't be bothered. Can't be bothered.
You're definitely going to enjoy this show more than you enjoy Sunday, mate.
Hey, you see this? Have you seen this since 2019, too?
I know. I feel as if I'm inclined to just say it now.
Oh, mate, surely you've got to win one.
At the start of the season, I said you wouldn't beat us every game. We managed to draw one. Right? I honestly can't see Celtic winning. I can't. No, I can't.
I don't know, mate. I think
Hollander might be. I know.
Aye, that's aye.
By the way, I'm going to tell you something about Hollander, right? I think he's a good defender, but I think he's a weak link with a ball over the top. So I think it might work out in your favour that he's not playing. There, I'm just saying that.
What would the be thing with Jack? Thing with?
He's never lost a game for Rangers.
Has he not?
Domestic football. We've never lost a game when Hollander's played.
What, was he out in the St Johnstone game the other night? Aye.
No, he played. We drew that game 1-1 and it went to penalties and he went off.
Was he out for the St Mirren game?
Didn't he play the St Mirren game? We've never lost a game domestically when Hollander has been in the squad, in the team, starting lineup.
No, you've never lost a game in 90 minutes while Hollander's been on the...
Right. Okay, fair enough. It's the same thing, but aye.
Right,
so are you still in the cup? You've never went out the cup? Is that what happened?
I'm not saying that.
Fuck off. That's what I'm telling you. That's a shite thing to say. Shit, that's a lot of shit. Aye, it is.
Well,
he was in that team. He got took off for a reason. Right?
He got took off.
He's injured?
Aye, he got took off for a reason, but he was still in the team. And he's get put out the cup. So that's like, we've won 55 titles. No, he's fucking...
Somebody's a wee bit...
Hold on, bring on Sunday now, you wee dick. Come on.
You pair of dicks.
You better turn your phone off on Sunday, you fucking arsehole.
You better turn yours off because you'll be getting spoilers, you prick.
Anyway, boys.
Jeez, that was good.
Get us where you get your podcast. Spotify.
Rate, subscribe.
Yes.
Ring the bell. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on the full lot, Instagram.
Sign up for Patreon.
Sign up for Patreon. You'll get some. Honestly, troops, I can't say this enough, right? Honestly, times are hard and all that, but we put up. Do we still do the outtakes, John?
Yes, and there's
Some of the best
lot.
parts of the show are actually the outtakes, by the way.
Please, if you do, please sign up to Patreon for the outtakes to see a moment, which is when we think that Charlie Christie has hung up the Zoom call and we realise that he hasn't, and Grado runs away.
You need to see this because I laughed for about 20 minutes. Right, you need to see Grado's reaction. It's fucking outstanding. It's outstanding.
And Charlie Christie did a great teammates as well, so that'll be up there as well. Patreon.com.
Because if you're listening, troops, and you're thinking about the Patreon, every week we get before the interview we do a teammates thing, and there's a hell of a lot of bonus content that people will end up going away. Sometimes they could last an hour before we actually do the interview, and it dates all the way back. So if you want to hear the outtakes for Andy Gray, if you want to take the outtakes for Barry Feastenders, they're all up there. So get up patreon.com/football daft.